Welcome to my classroom management plan. I am an aspiring librarian, and therefore this classroom management plan is designed for use in a middle school library with grades 6 through 8. In my library, the guiding principles are creating a positive environment, establishing trusting relationships between librarian and students, using the school's mission and value statements as a guideline for behavior and discipline, and emphasizing lifelong learning and creativity. An important way I will set expectations for behavior in my library is to conduct a yearly library orientation. This will incorporate an explanation of the rules and a library tour. It will be held at the beginning of every school year, even for returning students. New students who enter the school mid-year will have a private orientation with me. The layout of the library is designed to make library rules and behavior expectations easy to follow. The walls are lined with tall shelves, but the center space preserves sight lines with low shelves and display areas. When students enter the library, the book return box and circulation desk are directly on their left. The work tables are the default seating area for students during library lessons. The round table area is a quiet area reserved for students who are studying or taking a test. The community area has soft seating that can be easily moved around. This is designed to be a welcoming and inviting space where students can congregate. The computer lab and printing areas are to be used for academic purposes only. The center display shelves contain makerspace materials and games. These materials are to be used as directed by the librarian and during choice times. Students must respect the materials and clean up after themselves. Daily messages will be communicated to students using an easel placed near the entrance. Here's an example of what could be stated on the easel. Additional signage can be placed in the hallway directly outside the library entrance. This can inform students of library hours and other mundane information, but it can also be used to generate excitement about what is happening in the library. This slide has some examples of what the sign could say. Library rules will be communicated during the library tour. I'll give you a moment to read through them. Here's a continuation of the rules. These rules will be included in the student handbook and will be communicated to students, parents, and administrators by keeping them updated on the library website. All students and parents will be asked to electronically sign off on the handbook. Consequences for students who mistreat or lose books will include warnings and loss of privileges. Books that are lost will be billed to parents. As a librarian, I would provide research instruction and support to students who have been assigned a knowledge product to be presented. At the end of the unit, I would provide feedback and grade recommendations to the classroom teacher. If there was a specific student a teacher or specialist wanted to assess in a literacy area, I could be of assistance with that as well. The library is a natural space for students to make up work. If there was a library lesson that a student missed, they would be required to make up the lesson within a few days of their return to school. Those arrangements would be made between the classroom teachers, the student, and me. I plan to have in place clear expectations, a solid routine, and a plan to recognize positive behavior. I will give students praise in a way that doesn't single them out or embarrass them, but that encourages positive behavior in the rest of the class. Good behavior can be rewarded with choice time, when students can use laptops or tablets, play games, or use makerspace materials. I plan to promote a positive learning environment by using well-defined roles and routines. knowing students by name and encouraging their personal interest, maintaining a positive attitude and a growth mindset, and never letting my own ego get in the way. When the time comes to respond to negative behavior, I plan to use assigned seating, including motion seating if necessary. I would speak privately with a student. I could conference with a teacher. I would apply disciplinary consequences to include warnings that could lead to taking away library privileges. I would use school discipline procedures as a guideline for contacting parents, assigning detention, or in-school suspension. I will closely observe high-need students during transition periods to identify opportunities to avoid negative behavior. I will use differentiated instruction as a tool to help these students stay on the right path. This could mean providing activities for extended learning for those who have completed their work, allowing students to use a quiet area to do their work, and providing on-level reading materials to those who need it. I could see myself writing behavior contracts with high-need students. These would not be presented as a punitive singling out measure. Rather, behavior contracts would be presented as a way to help the student be successful. Thank you for listening to my presentation.